everybody. Welcome to week 2 of my Be Yourself series. And this week I am talking about determining your passions. I have a whole channel dedicated to writing and creative living, and I feel like I'm going back to like the basics, like the foundation, the baseline, if you don't know this yet, it's so basic. It's like the very beginning. But here's the deal. I think that in the midst of getting started, building your author platform, and getting focused on living a creative life, that a lot of time you forget to go back to those basics, and that's what I'm touching on myself. And if you could use a refresher course on it too, this is for you. This week we're talking about determining your passion. So we're going to start really simple. What do you love to do? So I don't know about you, but I get started doing something and then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes something I have to do, and then it doesn't ever get done. Raise your hand if you're like that. So if I have to do something, like if I have to write 1,000 words a day, yeah, it stops happening because the joy, that passion that I had falls out of it. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, what are you passionate about? Go back to the reason you started with whatever you are doing. For me, the writing comes because I've got the stories in my head. I'm talking to the characters in my head. My characters are talking to me. Doesn't that make me sound like a crazy person? And yet, I have to get it out. That creativity has to come out somewhere. And my writing is a perfect place for it to come out. One of the things that I see a lot of people talk about is developing a goal or a passion board. So I don't have like a physical board, but I do have all of my Pinterest boards that I have put together about why I love writing, why I love my creative living piece, why I love the current story I'm working on. Because when you get to the middle of the story, even though I have a pretty detailed and in-depth outline, the story can sometimes take over and you're like, well, where do I really want to go next? And so this is one of those, like, help me remember why I want to fight through this. Does that make sense? Number 2 is to try new things. Okay, so this sounds like one of those no-duh things, but if you're writing a story and you aren't living life, your story isn't going to come to life because you haven't lived anything. So go try new things. Go wind surfing, or go rock climbing, or go start a garden. Or if you have a garden, go to the farmer's market and try new vegetables. Whatever it is, but continually expand on what you already know. Don't just let it be where you're like, oh, I already know everything, or oh, I've already done enough of this, or any of that sort of stuff. Go to museums, go to concerts, go to out and visit with people. I think it was Chuck Miller on his 10 or 11 tips on writing. I'll link to it down below once I find it. And he said something like to the effect of, he had to keep on peopling. So don't just cut yourself off from the world because you're in this like creative mood, but you also have to get out and be with people in order to build something that people are going to engage with on a positive level. The third one is one that I talk about all the time, and it's probably my favorite of everything. It's be gentle with yourself. We are not striving for perfection. We're striving for something new. So if I go to the farmer's market and I screw up an entire batch of plums because the plum tart got burned or whatever, it didn't come out, I'm gonna be upset, yeah, because plums at the farmer's market are expensive and But I'm also going to be gentle with myself because here's the deal. I tried something else. I tried something new out. It didn't work. It's not a terrible thing. I am learning from it. Learn from your mistakes. Be willing to not beat yourself up because you did something wrong. It's okay to do something wrong. You just need to learn from what you did. And number 4, you guys, my last tip for today is to really think about this as whether or not this is going to be your new job or whether this is a hobby. If you put so much pressure on something to be your new job and you're like, this is what I'm going to take with me into retirement and this is what's going to do for me, or I'm going to live my whole adult life never working a typical job and I'm going to do this. While you may do it, and that's awesome if you get a chance to do your passion, but you can live your passion without having to only live your passion. For example, I'm a teacher, you guys, and I love teaching, and I'm a writer, and I love writing, and I'm just an all-around creative person, and I love creative personing, whatever that is. But I don't put so much stress on it that I know that this is going to be something that I can't do. Yes, I set aside time and I make it a priority and it's important to me, and I have goals that I hope to be meeting, and you guys will travel with me along the way as I'm going towards those goals. But the fact is that I do not put so much stress on this being my only source of money and employment that I am going to end up hating it. And I know that about myself. Hey everybody, those are my 4 tips on discovering your passions. I hope that this helps you to rediscover your passions as it has been helping me rediscover my passions. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing and pushing the little bell so you get notified of any videos I post on your way out. I post videos on Tuesdays about writing and creative living, and I post day in the life / writerly vlogs on Thursdays. I am working on living my creative life. Please come along and share the journey with me. On that note, if you have any thoughts about different ways that you have worked on discovering your passions throughout your life, please feel free to share them in the comments. Bye! Oops, I'm wearing that. I don't need that. Crud, this is not coming out right. This whole video is coming out piecemeal. I really should have a script for this one, but I don't. Ugh.